2024 was one of the best years ever for amazing and innovative backpacking gear, and I got to test all of it. Dozens of packs, tents, pads, and other gear, including the thickest sleeping pad ever released, and a freestanding tent that is, and I don't use this term lightly, a game changer. Today, I'm gonna share with you what I think the best backpacking gear has been in 2024 and going into 2025. And at the end of the video, I'll let you know what my gold, silver, and bronze awards are. Starting with the award for the best pack, we have the Durston Kakwa 55, but the Ultra Grid version, which costs $200 and only weighs 910 grams. This is the best bang for your buck for any pack under 1 kilogram. You get an ultralight pack at $200 that can carry 40 pounds easily. The Kakwa pack is an easy one to recommend to people because it covers so many different scenarios. When you're out there, it has the volume, it has the carrying capacity, but it's also lightweight and comes fully featured with pockets everywhere and really nice design. Each category is usually going to have 2 pieces of gear that I'm going to give an award to, and the second best pack award goes to the REI Flash 55. The Flash 55 is a fully featured pack with tons of pockets, a brain. You even have my favorite feature, which is water bottle pockets that are situated just in front of the side pockets. You have an adjustable torso, which really allows you to dial in the fit of this pack so that combined with the frame and the amazing suspension system and hip belt, you can really carry a lot of weight in this pack, way more than the advertised 30 pounds. For the best sleeping pad awards, the first one goes to the REI Helix sleeping pad. I've always been a proponent of getting a good night's sleep when you're out on the trail, and the REI Helix has been the most comfortable sleeping pad for me for going on 3 years now. I've been searching for other pads that are more comfortable, but I keep coming back to the Helix because of pressure relief. I'm a side sleeper, and when I lay on this pad, I can sleep through the night really easily without any sore spots, pressure points, or limbs falling asleep and going numb. And while it may not be thick enough for everyone, that's where the second award for sleeping pads comes into play. The second sleeping pad award goes to the Thermarest Neoloft, and this is that pad that I alluded to that's the thickest backpacking sleeping pad that's ever been released. It's not an inexpensive pad like the REI Helix, and it weighs quite a bit at over 800 grams, but it's 4.6 inches thick, which is insane. And for a lot of people, this is gonna be the most comfortable mattress that you've ever laid on. In addition to that thickness, it has a 3D structure, which really leads to great stability when you're laying on this pad. And it has a stretchy, soft material that it's made of, which makes laying on it really nice and helps with a little bit of pressure relief. Thermarest managed to make a pad like this while also keeping it warm, which is pretty crazy. There's very few companies out there that would be able to pull off a pad like this. For your best sleep insulation awards, so that's your quilts, your sleeping bags, the first award goes to the ZenBivy sleep system. Whether you're going for the light bed system or the ultralight bed system, they're both phenomenal. The way the ZenBivy system works is that you have a sheet that attaches to your sleeping pad, and then there's flaps on that sheet that then attach to a blanket that goes over top of you. And that sheet blanket system really helps keep drafts out and warmth in. I find the ZenBivy system more comfortable than a sleeping bag because I can toss and turn inside of it a lot more easily. And I actually find it warmer than a sleeping bag because in a sleeping bag, as I move from one side to the other, I expose compressed down insulation, and that leads to cold spots. So I'm usually warmer and more comfortable inside the ZenBivy, which is kind of crazy. If you're dead set on a sleeping bag, then I think for most people out there, the Decathlon MT900 is gonna be the best bet. It's comfort rated to freezing. It only costs $170 and it's fairly lightweight at 1,000 grams. Using PackWizard.com, I've checked out pretty much every sleeping bag out there, and nothing compares to the Decathlon MT900 for price and specs. Rounding out the sleep systems, we have pillows, and the first best pillow award goes to the Exped Mega Pillow. This pillow is insanely comfortable. It has a nice, soft, kind of cushioned top to it. It has loops in order to add a pad strap. Then it has a really nice width to it, so it feels like you're laying on a pillow at home, and then nice height for those side sleepers. As I get older, I think having a good pillow is almost just as important as having a good sleeping pad, and the Exped Mega Pillow, if I'm prioritizing comfort, is the pillow that I'm reaching for. The second best pillow award goes to the Trekology 2.0. It's much less expensive than the Exped Mega Pillow and weighs quite a bit less as well. But then it has all the features that you need with a pillow. It has a nice supportive kind of soft top to it. It has a pad strap, which is a must-have for me in order to keep it locked onto my sleeping pad. And then it has little beads on the bottom in order to also keep it from moving around too much. It may not have enough height for some side sleepers out there, but if you tuck a sit pad or your hiking pants underneath the pillow, it raises it up a little bit and makes it quite a bit more comfortable. moving away from sleeping gear because tent manufacturers, they needed a wake-up call, and Durston Gear delivered with the X-Dome 1 Plus tent. This is the only tent getting the best one-person tent award because every other freestanding one-person tent out there that I've tried is either heavy, has some weird features, poor material choices, is really expensive, or just not very spacious. The X-Dome is by far the best one-person tent that I've ever used. It's not the most lightweight tent, but if you only want to buy one tent, get this one. It does well in the desert, in winter, on 99% of trips that anyone might go on. I'll have links to the X-Dome as well as all of the gear that I'm talking about today down in the video description and a pinned comment. For the best two-person tents, I am giving out 2 awards in this category. The first one goes to the Nemo Dragonfly tent. This is the lightest weight freestanding tent on the market. It is relatively roomy. You can fit 2 25-inch wide pads inside of it. It has good fabric use with the Osmo fabric, which deals with rain and moisture and condensation really effectively. And then it does very well in rain thanks to the geometry of the tent and a ton of guy out points. It's not cheap at $500, but that's where the second award comes in, and it goes to the Durston X-Mid 2. The X-Mid 2 only costs $300 and is lighter weight than the Dragonfly at 1,005 grams, but that's because it's a trekking pole tent. So instead of using tent poles in order to set up the X-Mid, you use 2 trekking poles. And while using trekking poles to set up a tent may be intimidating for some people because it's not what you're used to, once you do it a few times, it gets really easy. And for me now, setting up trekking pole tents is actually quicker and easier than tents made with traditional tent poles. The X-Mid also has all the benefits that you'd expect for a tent getting an award. It's roomy, it uses good materials, and is really strong in weather and wind. Next, we're getting into some of the little items which may not be quite as important as things like your tent, your sleeping pad, your insulation, but can make or break a trip sometimes. Starting with the award for the best water filter, we have the Platypus Quick Draw. Definitely get it in the pink version. It's just gonna work a little bit better than the classic blue version that you see out there. The reason why I love this filter is that it filters very quickly. I've put a lot of water through the first version that I had of this filter, well over 1,000 liters, and it has a cap on either end so it doesn't leak water everywhere, which is especially important if temperatures are getting below freezing and you need to store it inside your sleeping bag or quilt with you. For the best cook system award, we have this pot stove combo from Fire Maple. It only costs $50 and weighs 247 grams. The system consists of the Green Peak stove, which has a piezo igniter, a nice wide burner with a wind lip, and then the pot is the petrol pot from Fire Maple, which is a heat exchanger pot with little slots that the Green Peak slides into, which allows it to heat up water very quickly and effectively and be very fuel efficient at the same time. It's crazy that Fire Maple is able to make a very efficient stove pot combo that does well in the wind and only costs $50, yet Fire Maple is able to do it, and this might be one of the best pieces of gear in 2024. The best headlamp award goes to the Nitecore NU20. This is basically a refresh of one of the most popular headlamps out there, version 1 of the Nitecore NU25, but it has USB-C charging. It has all the benefits of the old NU25. You have a red light button and a white light button, so you're not having to use one button to try and flick through all the different settings. It has a 1 lumen low light mode and is very lightweight and relatively inexpensive. The best SOS and satellite communicator device is Garmin's refresh of the InReach Messenger. This is the Messenger Plus, and what this does that the old Messenger does not do is it can send and receive pictures and voice messages, which as a new dad with a baby girl has been amazing when I'm going on trips. I'm able to see pictures of my girl basically whenever I want, and that's just really cool and nice to see. Being able to send pictures has been really cool as well. I used to send Steffi Poo messages like, beautiful sunset, wish you were here, and now I can send her a picture and we can experience that in a little bit of a more kind of connected way. The award for the best battery bank goes to the purple edition of the Victomox 10,000 milliamp hour battery bank. This thing is very inexpensive, it doesn't weigh a lot, and the purple option is just very beautiful at the same time. Victomox isn't really a well-known brand, but I've tested this battery out. I've used it a whole bunch and it's reliable and does very well with charging up basically anything I need it to. The best pump award goes to the Flextail Tiny Pump 2X. With the zero pump and other ultralight options on the market now, you'd think I might go for one of those, but the 2X has a higher inflation speed, has a higher PSI, it has a built-in light, which is nice for hanging inside your tent in order to illuminate the tent at night, and is, I think, just a better pump for most people out there, especially when you're dealing with gigantic pads like the Thermarest NeoLoft. The best trowel award goes to the tried and true Bogler trowel. It has a couple updates this year with serrated edges on both sides, a slightly more curved handle, and a little bit more kind of durability and strength to it. I never had problems with this in the past, but it's nice to see them iterating and updating it. It's just such a great, affordable, lightweight, and effective trowel. The best chair award goes to the Nemo Moonlight Elite. It has a few different cool things going for it. First of all, the kind of casing that it has here doubles as a footprint, so that if you're on sandy ground or really kind of muddy ground, you can put that down, put the chair on top of it, and you're not going to be sinking in with your legs, which I found is a huge problem with the Helinox Chair Zero. And it's nice that they incorporated it into the overall kind of carrying design of the chair. It also has 2 toggles on the side, which allows you to kind of switch between a recline mode and an up front mode, which is really kind of nice when you're just kind of wanting to relax a little bit, or if you want to be a little bit more upright, like if you're around a fire or preparing a meal. The award for the best puffy jacket goes to the Decathlon MT100. The price has been slowly creeping up, but it's still a relatively affordable jacket at $100. It's lightweight, made with great materials, and keeps me warm down to about freezing temperatures or slightly below. There's really nothing else on the market that compares to the MT100. So what are my gold, silver, and bronze awards? For bronze, we have the Fire Maple Petrol Pot. Like I said, this is one of the best products released in 2024. The reason this is getting an award is because of how well it performs and that price. $50 for a pot stove combo is really nice to see when you see other pot stove combos costing well over $100. The silver award goes to the Thermarest Neoloft. I've been wanting Thermarest to take a stab at making a comfortable pad. The X-Lite, the X-Therm, they're warm, they're lightweight, but they've never been comfortable. And Thermarest, they hit a home run with the Neoloft series of pads. I wouldn't be surprised if this became one of the most popular pads out there, just based on how comfortable it is and how warm it is, while still being fairly lightweight, light enough for most people out there. And the gold award. If you're paying attention, this might not surprise you, but it's going to the Durston X-Dome 1. When this tent first got released, I didn't actually think I'd like it at all, but once I got my hands on it, started testing it, it's blown me away with how effective it is at basically achieving everything that a one-person tent needs to be. It's not the most ultralight tent, it's not the best tent for like mountaineering or extreme conditions, but it does everything well, and I think it's gonna be the best tent for most people. Go check out this video if you want to see a trip where I bring my all-time favorite gear. It includes a lot of gear that got awards today, but is a little bit more ultralight focused just because I think I prioritize weight a little bit more than the average person.